All right, here we are. Spoiler filled. Y'all ready? Let's do it. Okay, so like I said in my spoiler-free review, this movie was hands down if not one of the best superhero movies I've ever seen, it was the best. Listen, Avengers Endgame, it had the same amount of emotions as Avengers Endgame. Let's just get it out the gate, bro. There is a part, there's a moment in the movie, it's a spoiler full. This is spoiler filled, so I'll just go ahead and say it. When Aunt May dies, right? From that point until the end of the movie, yo ass is gonna be crying, okay? The amount of heartstrings they pull on from the moment this woman passes away. Also, Marissa Tomei, that performance was ridiculous. But she didn't even know she was dying. She was like, I need to catch my breath, just let me get a second. And Peter like felt, he saw the blood and he looked at her. She's like, what's wrong? What's going on? And I was like, no, they kill him. But that hit, dude, from that point until the end of the movie is just emotional. Like, you're gonna feel happy, you're gonna feel sad, you're gonna want revenge. Dude, it's on point. The villains were perfect. I like the fact that the villains kind of stayed true to character. The only villain, I think Jamie Foxx, from what I remember, Jamie Foxx his character was changed from the Andrew Garfield universe. This Electro was funnier, he had more swag, he was more confident. Like, when he became Electro in the other films, in the other film, he was, you could see that he was kind of feeling himself a little bit, but he was a little more menacing. He was a little more like, yo, I got the powers and shit. This Electro was pretty much Jamie Foxx with powers. Like, he was funny as hell. His lines were on point. He had a crispy lineup, which I don't, because I need a haircut. So, like, when do I get on it? What is going on? Why is it round like that? Anyway, he did his thing, and I actually really enjoyed it. Why am I covering Spider-Man? My bad, dog. I really enjoyed it. The villains were great. So Sandman was up in there. Alfred Molina's Doc Ock was flawless. Willem Dafoe, like I said in the last video, the GOAT. The dude's act, he's so good. Like, his voice when he becomes the Goblin and he's Peter, you know what I'm saying? You're struggling to have everything you want. Just the way he did, bro. Oh my God, killed it. Can Spider-Man come out to play? Dog, what? That dude was, he's nasty. He did a great job. Let's just go ahead and address the elephants, plural, in the room. Yeah, they did it. They were in the movie. Yes, sir. Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire both made their appearances in the movie, which we all knew. Digitally removing them from the trailer wasn't going to do nothing. We all knew they were going to be in the movie, and they delivered. They were great. They were awesome. And the banter between the Spider-Men was great. And like I was telling all my people that I've left the movie with, I was like, bro, what would have put this movie over the top? And what would have been maybe too much for the audience? It would have been so much, the movie would have been too perfect, is if they did the meme. And I don't know which meme I'm talking about, where they point at each other like that. They should have did that, bro. That shit would have been that would have been funny. That would have been so funny. But so what I felt from the movie, and this is just my interpretation, is I felt Tobey Maguire was a mature, older Spider-Man, because he is the oldest Spider-Man that we know in age and, timeline-wise. he seemed mature. He seemed older. He seemed very wise. He seemed like obviously he had been through a lot. So the way he was speaking was they killed that, bro. Garfield's still goofy as hell. Even when he came in and he was like, and Mary Jane was like, prove you're Peter. And she threw the bread at him and hit him in the face. And he was like, why'd you do that? like, bro, it was dog. And then when they saw each other, when Garfield and Maguire saw each other, they had like the spider sense, like, what the hell? And so they started webbing at each other, dodging and everything. That shit was cold. And Tom Holland's acting, bro. He got to win something for that. He got to win something for that. You could feel the way he portrayed, obviously his character he's been playing for the last like 5 years, but like he wore it on his face that he was sick and tired of losing people. You know what I'm saying? He lost Iron Man. Now he lost Aunt May. They didn't go into if he lost Uncle Ben or not, but like it's Spider-Man. He lost Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben passed away. He's so tired of it, and for Aunt May to be taken away from him because of the Goblin, which the Goblin does kill Aunt May. He was just like, listen, dude, I'm sending y'all back. Go home. Like, y'all are in here messing shit up. I'm done with it. Like, get out of here. Right? So they devised their plan to instead of pretty much sending all these people home, they wanted to cure them of their like basically rid them of those powers that the villains had, and see if they can live in harmony. But obviously it's not going to work. The villains don't care about you or your harmony. They want to be villains. That's what they are. That's who they are at their core. And they were getting down. They had, it was like in the trailer when you see Lizard, Sandman, and Electro versus the one Spider-Man. Like I said, you really thought anybody bought that? Nobody bought that. We all knew it was going to be 3 Spider-Man in there, and y'all digitally removed them. So we look, come on, man. But I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to play damage control. But the fight, that whole scene was amazing. Even right before the villain showed up, when the Spider-Men were talking to each other and kind of going over like all the things that they went through, like Garfield and Toby were talking about like, I'm lame or something like that, is what Garfield said. And Toby was like, no, we're not going to do the negative self-talk. You're amazing. Get it? Because he was the amazing Spider-Man. But and then Toby is the only one who has the webs that shoot naturally out of his wrist instead of using web cartridges and web shooters. So they were all asking, they're like, yo, like, is that the only place they come out of? Right? So they had a lot of humor in it. It was just they were funny, and like the banter when they were trying to devise the plan, and then Holland dropped. He was like, yeah, like I was part of the Avengers, and they were like, what the hell is that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because we didn't have that. We didn't have the Avengers when those movies came out. So I was thoroughly impressed. Is that a thoroughly impressed? I think I said this last time. I'm impressed. All right, I'm impressed. That movie was. I have to see it again. Naturally, I'm gonna go see that boy maybe 3 times. It was so good. It was so good. I don't see myself just watching it once. Obviously, I think I've seen Endgame 4 or 5 times. Infinity War, I've watched that till my eyes bleed because it was on freaking FX all the time. Then Netflix had all that, so we were just watching it just left and right. Let's talk about the direction the movie went in, right? So we have Doctor Strange and Peter. They did the spell to forget that Peter was Spider-Man, but Peter messed it up. So what happened was they opened up the multiverse, and everybody that knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man is in our universe. So, but a Peter Parker, they all know of a Peter Parker. They don't know about Tom Holland. So once again, we have Andrew Garfield and we have Tobey Maguire. They're all here and they're looking for their respective Peter Parker, and they all run across Tom Holland. They're like, that's not him. And so then, you know, Doctor Strange's like, bro, like, bring him here, we'll send him home. That's that, right? So Doc Ock then reveals, hey, if you, like, what are you talking about? Y'all seen Norman Osborn? That's not possible. He's dead. Because remember, Norman died in #1. So Doc Ock would know about that because on the news. So they basically come up with this thing, and he shoots it at the villain, sends him back to Doctor Strange's little lab. So they go on a mission to get all these villains and send them back. Well, once they all have them in the thing, Doctor Strange was like, all right, so, no, sorry, Dr. Octopus and Sandman are talking about the fate of, like, you know, Green Goblin and Dr. They're like, bro, like, y'all died. Because he didn't die. Remember, Sandman did not die. But they were like, wait, what? No, how is that possible? I'm standing right here. Like, how am I dead? And he was like, you did die. I remember. Because I remember it being on the news. Like, y'all died. You got stabbed by your glider. You drowned in the Hudson River. You guys are out of here. So the fact that you're standing here is crazy. Right? So they were, Peter was like, damn, I can't send these people back to die. Dude, like, they get a second chance at life. Like, why don't we try to help them? That way, they, you know, they can live out the rest of their lives. Maybe we can send them home, and there's a way. He's always trying to find a way. And Doctor Strange was like, no, they gotta die. Sorry, bro. So then they scrap a little bit, and he puts them in the the mirror dimension, right? And you're scrapping in the mirror dimension. Peter escapes using the power of math, which was crazy because I hate math, obviously. But they did, that was cold. Obviously the plan doesn't work because they're bad guys. So one thing also I want to talk about, I know I'm kind of scatterbrained, but the the way they did the Spidey sense in this movie was so good because it made you feel like you had Spidey sense. Bro, like in the other one, he kind of just said, nee, and then, you know, like he would dodge and stuff like that. In Infinity War, you could see the hair stand up on his like that, you know what I'm saying? In this movie, he got like this. It was almost kind of like Tobey Maguire's, but like the way he like looked, he was like, the hell? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is going on? And they slowed the sound down. They made you, dude, your heart's pumping. You're like, something ain't right. There's a scene where the first time he gets in this movie was when Dr. Octopus shows up. And he's like, excuse me? Like, what's going on? And he was like, everybody get off the bridge, get off. And Dr. Octopus rolls through, right? Hello, Peter. You know, from the trailer. The next, he gets it again when Green Goblin shows up, but the next time he gets it was the sickest scene ever. They're in the condo, they're in Happy's condo, and he just got through fixing the villains, right? He got Doc Ock a new transmitter for the arms. He gave Jamie Foxx this thing. And he made this serum for Green Goblin to get the Goblin out of him so Norman Osborn can be normal. And he's talking to them and they're having a great time and they're coming out of the room and all of a sudden he gets it and he's like, yo, something ain't right, bro. And he's looking around and bro, like the whole time your heart's pounding. You're like, yo, what the hell is about to happen? And he's like, you know, and then he closes his eyes and he's trying to feel like where the danger's coming from. He's like, I just helped these guys. Like, what could be happening? Like, what could be the issue? And then he webs up Green Goblin's hand to this machine, and that's when Goblin comes out and he said, oh, that's a neat trick, you dude. The chills down the neck, boy. That was crazy. Willem Dafoe, that dude cannot be messed with. He's, I don't know, whatever. But this movie it's almost like this was the movie they meant to make all along. Which probably, I mean, of course it was the case. It's Marvel. It's never an accident. But like, this movie was the movie they was meant all along, as in Andrew Garfield verse and Tobey Maguire verse. All of that just seemed like it flowed straight into this movie. Like, this was the fourth Spider-Man from 02, 04 into the third Amazing Spider-Man to the third Spider-Man Home series. So like, yo, I literally, like, once again, I gotta see that bad boy again. The ending was very, very tragic but necessary, right? So this is the spoiler section, so I can talk about it. In order to stop all of these Spider-Man villains and people from coming into this universe, Peter had to have Doctor Strange cast a spell so that everybody would forget that he's Peter Parker. They would no longer know who he was. That includes Happy Hogan, Ned Leeds, MJ, Doctor Strange, everybody. They all forget who, even J. Jonah Jameson, they all forget who he is. And in order for this to work, he has to do it. So he goes and he says bye to Strange. He says bye to the other two Peters, and then he jumps over and he says his final goodbye to MJ and Ned, which was, dog, that was so damn sad. And then he jumps off and he turns around one last time and looks at him and he swings off, and then it goes into like a little bit into the future, and you see J. Jonah Jameson. He was like, Spider-Man, Spider-Man, blah 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 blah, and if only he would unmask himself and show everybody who he really is. Like, and we just got through with him, being outed by Mysterio from the last movie. And then, it's some time passes, it's snowing out there in Queens, and he walks into MJ's coffee shop and he's like, and she don't know who he is. And Ned Leeds walks right past him into the dog. And he had made this whole speech. He was like, hi, I'm Peter Parker. You don't know me, but, and he was going to go on and, and it was so, that one hurt a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you. I was like, damn, dog, like, you don't even. And then he put Peter, he's talking to her, he's chopping it up, and he's looking at her because it's the girl he loves, and he's looking her dead in her eye, and she's looking at him, and it's not the same, it's not reciprocated because she doesn't know who he is, and he's, damn, dog, that one, ooh, that was tough. And he takes the note and he puts it in his pocket. He's like, I'll see you around. He can't even do it. That was pretty good. That was the acting in that scene was phenomenal. Zendaya did a great job too. She's actually a pretty good actress. I mean, we know her from the Disney Channel and stuff like that, but like, she's growing into this, she's already a superstar. I'm gonna edit that out. Who cares? Everybody knows Zendaya's an actress. Like, duh. But Zendaya and Tom Holland, they work well together. And then he moves to an apartment, right? Because he's not living with May anymore because she's passed. Happy Hogan doesn't even know who he is. Happy Hogan sees him in the cemetery where May is buried and walks clean up to him. They stand next to each other, and he goes, so how did you know her? Bruh, I'm her nephew. I'm her nephew, dog. She didn't tell you she had a nephew? Come on, bro. Nah, but I'm being, in all seriousness, Happy Hogan doesn't even know who you are anymore. And, Iron Man, the whole Iron Man legacy. It's crazy. But the coolest nod to the comic books was the suit that he put on at the very end. It's the classic Spider-Man suit. It's the suit that is comic book accurate. So we're gonna see how that plays out. If they do continue Spider-Man after this, I think where I think it's gonna go is I think that we are gonna get the comic book storyline from this point forward. I think we're gonna see either a Gwen Stacy or a Mary Jane Watson. I think we're going to see Miles Morales. I think we're going to see things start to happen from here. Even new villains. We're definitely going to see Venom. Post-credit scene time. That scene with Eddie Brock at the bar when he gets vanished back to his own timeline, but it leaves a symbiote piece in the MCU, meaning that Venom exists in the MCU. So that's going to be great. Then the Doctor Strange one at the very end. If you're watching this right now, you've probably already seen the movie. There's 2 post-credit scenes. Stay. But listen, that movie deserved a 100 on Rotten Tomatoes. It deserved a 10 out of 10. It deserves all the praise that it gets. That movie right there is goated. It's going to be an instant class. It's going to be top 3 superhero movies by when it's all said and done. That's going to be one of the best superhero movies to ever come out. Top 3. You heard it here first. I've done enough rambling. I got a headache. You know what I'm saying? It's too much emotion, too much screaming, too much clapping, all that. That movie was on point. But let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, comment down there. Tell me what you thought about that movie. What would you give it? What rating? Let Spider-Man know. And I'll see you guys on the next one.